This is Wright Brennan with C. Wright Roofing, and today we're talking about the proper ways to waterproof your chimney on your roofing system. There are a number of different components and effective methods to make sure that water does not get in your house through the chimney. The chimney is actually one of the more risky areas of your roof line. There's just so many places that the water can get in. So some special attention needs to get placed on the chimney. And the first place that we want to investigate and make sure is protected is actually the brick and the mortar itself. You can see on this chimney that we've got some dark staining on the brick and the mortar where there's some growth that has started to accumulate on top of the mortar. Sometimes this will allow moisture to get trapped between the growth, the mortar. It'll start to make its way into the chimney through the mortar itself. And you'll notice there's cracks in the mortar just from old age and maybe some of that growth coming off. So we have a special sealant to seal the chimney so that we know when we flash the chimney and we put our special cricket down, those items are working properly and the chimney itself is protected along the walls. So the chimney flashing, one of the riskiest areas of the roof, the area of the roof and the chimney that you really want to spend the most time making sure is installed properly so that you don't have leaks. It wraps around the entire chimney, and if you see here, we've got our cricket coming up right against the flashing itself, which includes this piece of metal. This is called our counter flash, and underneath the counter flash there is another piece of metal. On the sides it's a piece of step flashing coming up. So the counter flash, this piece of metal on top, it's actually broken and it's bent at the very top, and it bends into the brick itself. So we cut the mortar line here across the edge of the chimney, and we place the counter flashing into the brick. Underneath that counter flashing is our other piece of flashing, and it sits against the wall of the chimney and underneath the shingles. So we've got an effective way for water to exit around the chimney and not into the house. As it falls down the wall of the chimney, it crosses on top of the counter flashing. Down here in the very corner is where it will it'll cross over the shingle and over the step flashing, and then around the perimeter of the chimney line. Another element of our waterproofing protection system around this chimney is the underlayment, which we can't see because it's all covered up and it's underlaying the shingles. However, on the majority of the roof surface, we're gonna have our felt. This is a piece of synthetic felt. This is the first line of defense on top of our OSB. And around the chimney, we're actually gonna have ice and water shield. So this particular product peels off on the back and essentially glues down to the roof surface. And when we install our ice and water shield around our chimney, we actually bend it up just a little bit right here at the edge of the chimney line, underneath both our counter and our step flashing around the perimeter. So in essence, you've got a triple layer of protection in the area that's most vulnerable around the chimney. You're gonna have your ice and water shield, which glues down to the roof deck and is bending up the side of the chimney wall. On top of this, we'll have our step flashing, and on top of the step flashing, we're gonna have our counter flashing. Now, once all of these pieces are installed, then we lay our shingles down, which hopefully do the job for us and keep the water from getting into the house, the attic, etc., and causing lots of problems. So one other important element of our chimney protection waterproofing system is our cricket. And that is the little ramp behind the chimney that diverts the water away from the flashing and the back wall of the chimney itself. So if you can imagine when water is flowing off your roof, it may dead end into the wall of the chimney unless we've got a special ramp built to divert the water away from the dead end. And typically dead ends on a roof turn into leaks. So this particular cricket is designed to move the water away from the dead end. It's made out of just 2x4s and OSB, and it's a really effective and a really critical part of the roof system. So we're going to demonstrate how the water is going to flow off the roof and the effectiveness of our cricket. So if you can imagine, it's raining and the water is flowing down the roof line. So there's one other area on your chimney that can be problematic and cause leaks, be of concern, and that is here at the cap of the chimney. Now this area of the chimney, in fact, is not in the roofer's wheelhouse. We will often recommend that a chimney company come, inspect the cap, inspect the top area of the chimney to make sure that those particular areas are sealed and shedding water away. If you can imagine, if this cap isn't working properly, water is making its way into the chimney, and somebody may get confused and think that that's a roofing problem. And same with the mortar and the cement here at the top of this brick chimney. And these areas are best handled by a chimney sweep or a chimney maintenance company. We hope you guys found this video informative, and be sure to like, subscribe, comment. And we've got another cool video about roof ventilation systems. So if you feel like your house is getting real hot and you need some help ventilating the hot air through your attic space, check that video out as well.